Hey friends, welcome back to Jenny Food and My Kitchen. Today we are going back to my favorite food group. If you've been watching this channel for any length of time, you know my heart belongs to salads, right? So today I'm going to show you how to make that infamous chopped dill pickle salad. And then we're even going to take it a little bit further and make that a good entree salad. So let's make this. First off, friends, let's talk ingredients. So in my little salad bowl here, I've got the base, which is going to be romaine lettuce, purple cabbage, and kale, which, I mean, if you know me, you know I love the texture and the color differences between those three, and I think they make a great base to a lot of salads. We're also going to add some fresh parsley. I've got fresh dill. Those go into the dressing portion of this, as does a shallot. But we're going to add some radishes, some lemon juice, and then of course some feta. Dill pickle, we're going to use both the pickles and the juice, and then a little mustard and olive oil, and garlic, and I think that's it. A little salt maybe. And then I will show you closer to the end how we're going to take this up to an entree salad. So let's make this. First, we are going to get our base going with this romaine lettuce. I am just going to kind of chop it, not super big, but not super small. And then I'm going to fill up the base of my salad bowl with romaine. All right, so got our romaine done. We've got a pretty nice base. Now to that, I'm just going to add a little bit of purple cabbage. Purple cabbage really, or red cabbage, however you call it, really goes a long way. And I'm going to start with just a little bit. Now I like to very finely chop my red cabbage. I just don't prefer to have huge pieces of cabbage to chew. I like them when they're more of a shredded texture. So that is what we're going to do. I just love cabbage in salads. I'm a sucker for a good coleslaw. I just love cabbage. Cabbage is so good for you too. All right, that looks perfect. And so I'm just going to kind of put that all around our base and see just what a little color and texture will do to a salad. I'm just finishing picking off some of this kale from the stems. Now this is kale that I had left over from my barbecue crunch salad that I made for my event last weekend that I made the previous video, those cookie cheesecake bars, which were delicious. I also made some barbecue crunch salad for that same event. So this is left over, and I think this is just enough. Now I like to kind of wad my kale in a ball and then just go in and cut as fine as I can one time through. And then I will just kind of take the blade and almost do like an herb chop and just kind of go back and forth. I like the kale to be kind of fine. And like I've said before, I just love the texture. I love the texture differences between any kind of lettuce, kale, and cabbage. To me, that makes a good salad. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my fingers and kind of mix all of that in. And then of course you get that pretty dark green, the purple. And then I'm also going to add some fresh parsley to that. Now I could put the parsley in the dressing, but I don't want that flavor kind of lost and whizzed up into the dressing. So I'm going to go ahead, and oftentimes that is kind of one of my secrets for kind of like a fancy bougie salad, is to just mix the greens with a little parsley. It just gives it a freshness that, that you don't get without it. So I like to add a few parsley leaves, probably a fourth of a cup or so is what we're going to end up with. Oh yeah, about a fourth of a cup. And then I will just, again, kind of massage and move that into the rest of these greens. The base is complete. I've got my parsley, my kale, my purple cabbage, and my romaine. So now we're just going to top that salad with a few radishes and some dill pickle and some feta. And, you know, when I use radishes in salad, I think to me they really do like the job almost of an onion with crunch and flavor. But I'm just going to cut like little, almost like little matchsticks, little thin slices that are half the size. Kind of like a half slice, if that makes sense. Almost like that. It reminds me of like a slivered almond, you know, just bigger. So I'm going to put those in. We'll just add those around and I will get the rest of these sliced. I'm adding my radishes in. Those are all chopped. And really it doesn't take many radishes, just, you know, 3-4 radishes, but there's that. And next we're going to go in with our pickles. Now this says to do a cup of pickles or so. I think I am going to do 2 pickles. Well, maybe 3. And I like everything to be relatively the same size. I don't want that pickle flavor in this to be overwhelming. So I'm going to cut these pickle kind of fine. I'll just go down with one chop and then I'll probably bring my blade back and then do kind of just small little chopped pieces of pickle. So I'm just chopping this up now, kind of fine. I just like to have small pieces of pickle, not huge pieces of pickle. And then I'm just going to go ahead and scatter those all over the top. Last but not least, I am going to just add in some feta cheese right on top. And there you have it. Pretty simple. Just a little side salad. Now, to me, this would go really good with some fried chicken. This would go great with burgers. I mean, if you wanted to, you could cook burger, kind of chop that up, use cheddar cheese, and then like a Thousand Island dressing. Kind of like a burger salad. That would be really good. We're going to go ahead and stick with feta today. So our salad is complete. Now we are going to go ahead and do the dressing. So I am just going to add, first of all, that's a half a cup of olive oil. I'm going to add just about 3/4 cup. So a half a cup plus a half of a half a cup, 3/4 cup. And now I am going to take my lemon and give that a good juicing. And we're looking for about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. So that looks to be pretty close to 3 tablespoons. So we'll see. That's 1, 2, 3 tablespoons exactly. My eyeball skills are good. And then we're going to go in with the same amount of pickle juice. So 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of pickle juice. And then a little bit of garlic. It calls for 1 clove. I'm going to do about a heaping 1/4 of a teaspoon. That was a heaping 1/4 teaspoon of minced garlic in a jar. Took me 3 times to say that. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, which this is my local mustard that I always use for salad dressings because I find that it has the best flavor. So I've got a teaspoon of that. You could use yellow mustard, but I would say if you don't have good local honey mustard, then I would use Dijon. And then we're going to go in with about half of a shallot. It's that time of year where I need to get back into salads. So I'm just kind of giving that a little bit of a rough chop. And then I'm going to throw that right in there. And then lastly, I've got some fresh dill, of course. And I think I'm going to pick off what will amount to a little more than a tablespoon of fresh herbs. So about half of, maybe not quite half of this package if you buy kind of the fresh dill in the little plastic containers in the produce section. All right, I'm going to take this back to my food processor and whiz that up real quick. I'll be right back. That looks delicious. All right, I just tasted this dressing, and honestly, it needs a little bit of salt and it needs just a little bit more of brightness. So maybe just a little more pickle juice or lemon. I've got our dressing right here. I'm gonna pour it into this little cup, but I did end up adding a little bit more. I squeezed about another tablespoon of lemon. I added another teaspoon of mustard and a little salt, but it just needed something to bring it together. And I added about 2 teaspoons of honey. So just that sweetness kind of married everything together really nice. It's very good dressing. I am excited to try this, but I promised you I would show you how to turn this into an entree salad. So let's do that now. All right, friends, I got excited and I did this off camera, but to this salad, I went ahead and I added 3 eggs kind of put in quarters. And then I added almost the complete breast of a rotisserie chicken that I had just picked up this morning. Chopped that, put that in the center. A little repeat of feta. Don't you think that looks absolutely wonderful? This is something that you could make for your friends, your girlfriends, like if you had your friends over with some iced tea in the summer. I don't know about you, but I am looking so forward to summertime salads and summertime cool drinks. That gives me all the feels. Let me get a little bowl for myself and I'll give you the taste. I am so ready to dig in. I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little bit of the salad in my bowl and make sure that I get some of that chicken and a couple of those eggs. And then I will take some of that dressing. Just give it a little drizzle. Mix that all up. All right. Let's see if this salad is as good. I mean, I know it's good, but let's just see if it's worth the excitement I'm feeling right now in my mouth because I want to eat this. Oh yeah, the egg, perfect. I love the chicken. Friends, that is so good. And you get that, just that pop of the pickle. It's not overwhelming. And that radish and cabbage, I mean, there's plenty of crunch and fresh herb. There's a lot going on in this bowl right now. All right, friends, that is not overly dilly. Now, you could certainly add more dill pickle if you'd like. You can even add a little dill pickle into the dressing if you'd like. I do not, just because I don't want to be overwhelmed with one flavor. I like all of those flavors kind of combined and in a way that it's balanced. So that is delicious and just such a nice kind of different salad to either bring to work or serve in the summer, or, you know, like I'm having as an entree salad for lunch today. So friends, make this, like, subscribe, comment, do all the things. I love you. I love to hear from you, but we will see you soon. Bye for now, friends.